Nyamicha na mo akwa basonko so emre channel so hada so ye bear media GH abusuan ayade team ora operation recover all loot abusuan omo the report e the ababonten na report no de ensem na ewom de na team ora no abusuan omo de ababonten bekaya His Excellency John Dramani Mahama after his inauguration no the ensem de tudwa said obeti ekuo bia e friend na ye team ora no ejina ho ma operation recover all loot na ensusie bi wo ho say abandada no nanado da kwakofo ado for the past 7-8 years no abusia almost say ono ne appointees no it was alleged say sikabi anase state loot bi ekoso na ene team oral at the report at the aba we dey ma mekasa wa mekasa tete pese ekonekoti report wa team oral at the aba bonte na se wieda se wadwen che bia abomode na ya kire ya adwe hada so e be media GH se ene dey konetwa channel so ni di no bo kwan so e be so be je me wa hwe videos tin bi you have body our subscribe like no watch out for person be atie no anya bi atie yan konekoti report here about bonte a che say over 21 billion US dollars abusia ensem no ano eden ensem no ano eden papa e ha be media body subscribe like na watch out for person be atie no enya bi entie yetie report wa team oral e dey about bonte emra sesia yedas.
The impunity, the brazenness, the cruelty. Ordinary Ghanaians were told to take haircuts on their pensions, tighten belts, and beg the IMF for crumbs while billions were stolen in broad daylight. We've seen how debt became a playground for the powerful across Africa. But in Ghana, corruption wasn't just whispered about, it was dragged into the light. In late 2024, President John Mahama launched a bold campaign promise, Operation Recover All Loot, ORAL. It was a forensic drive to trace stolen wealth, recover it, and prove that Ghana could finally hold its own elites accountable. Greetings. My name is Dr. Christie Agawu. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is where we pull no punches about aid, debt, and development. And to you, my returning listeners, thank you. Continue to like and share and subscribe because these are truths that must travel. Last time, we reflected on how so many leaders of newly independent African countries betrayed the hopes of their citizens, mortgaging sovereignty, squandering resources, and tearing apart the fabric of accountability. Today, we bring that reflection home. We dig into Operation Cover All Loot, Ghana's most ambitious attempt yet to confront its own betrayals head on. Not theory, not history, but names, numbers, and scandals pulled from the shadows into the light. Within weeks of the launch, more than 2,400 complaints poured into Oral's hotline. Civil servants, contractors, whistleblowers, all pointing at familiar places, the ministries, inflated contracts, and shady land grabs. Investigators zeroed in on 36 high-profile cases worth nearly $21 billion. And let that sink. A quarter of Ghana's GDP stolen, siphoned, hidden in private accounts, money that could have built hospitals, roads, schools. Instead, it built mansions for the elite packed into their accounts. Perhaps this time, their cup will finally be full. Perhaps Ghana will retrieve its money. Perhaps those who robbed the nation blind will see the inside of a prison cell. Perhaps Ghana can begin to learn lessons carved in pain. Perhaps, just perhaps. For once, the villains weren't foreigners or nameless outside forces. They were Ghana's own elite, ministers, directors, business owners, even clergy. Oral became a corruption X-ray, exposing rot across nearly every sector of public life. See, no institution was too sacred, no office too high. The scandals spanned everything: National Service Secretariat, National Signals Bureau, SML, Ajapa, PDS, the National Cathedral, and even the Ajapa Forest Reserve. People, for years, whispers swirled about padded payroll. Oral confirmed it. 81,885 ghost names between 2018 and 2024. The payroll included octogenarians, infants, and outright fake names. And the losses, about $20 million. This was no clerical error. It was organized theft. People, loans secured with ghost names, shell companies cashing checks, vendors paid for services that were never rendered. At least 12 officials were charged, including Mustafa Yusuf, the then executive director, Osei Asibe Entwi, the director general, and Gifty Owari Mensah, the deputy executive director, identified as the ringleader. Even Ghana's intelligence service was not spared. $7 million was allocated for a cyber defense system, but nothing was delivered. Instead, funds were traced to accounts linked to the Bureau's director, Kwabena Eduboahin, and his wife, Angela. The prosecution alleges that Eduboahin created a shadow company, the BNC Communications Bureau Limited, almost identical to the real Bureau's name. He opened accounts under that name, funneled checks, and made the theft look like legitimate operations. Only $1.75 million went to the contractors. The rest, over $4 million, vanished into private pockets. If the country's spy agency can't be trusted, then what hope is left? Or maybe the spy agency should not be trusted. Yet another scandal. The Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, known as SML, was founded in 2017 by Evans Iduse, a timber merchant with no background in petroleum. Nonetheless, SML secured a sole source contract in 2019 to monitor fuel taxes. Blessed by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and Ghana Revenue Authority's Emmanuel Kofi Nti, the deal saw SML pocket about $232 million by 2020. Despite Ghana already having working systems that provided those services, SML had been redundant from day one. And people, when the Fourth Estate exposed it, the SML, in a final insulting twist, turned around and sued the journalist for 10 million Ghana cedis. And yet another scandal. Ghana's Minerals Income Investment Fund created a Jersey-based offshore company, the Ajapa royalties deal. The faces behind the scandal told the whole story. Again, Ken Ofori-Atta, finance minister, cousin to the president. Gabi Asari Ochedaku, cousin and chief lobbyist of the president. And Kofi Osafo-Maafo, son of senior minister Yao Osafo-Maafo, sat in as CEO of the Minerals Income Investment Fund. Jersey was no accident. Jersey is a UK crown dependency, long known as a tax haven, chosen precisely for secrecy, for light regulation, and the ability to shield deals from public scrutiny. The deal was rammed through Parliament, all inside a day. Ghana mortgaged 40 to 50 years of gold royalties for $1 billion upfront. Civil society denounced it as gold alchemy for the elite. It was simply daylight robbery. Well, in March 2019, the Power Distribution Services Ghana Limited, PDS, a hastily assembled consortium of foreign and local players, was given control over the Electricity Corporation of Ghana's southern grid. It was a 20-year concession backed by $500 million in U.S. Millennium Challenge Compact funds. PDS needed a $350 million bank guarantee to unlock the deal. They produced a forged insurance guarantee from a company called Al Qud in Qatar. Within months, Al Qud disowned it outright. We never issued these. The signatures are fake, and even if we had, we don't have the capacity for that scale. Oh. Of course, the U.S. withdrew its $190 million in protest, and by October, the deal was dead. Friends, what began as President Akufo-Addo's personal vow to God became one of the most brazen state scandals in history, an extreme drain on the public purse. By 2022, over $58 million in public funds had been funneled into the project without Parliament's approval. Now remember, this was a personal vow, a personal promise to God to be used without state funds. Well, the projected costs ballooned from $100 million to $450 million. And what stands in place at Ridge today? Not a cathedral, just a pit. And one does truly wonder where all that money went. The secretary of the board, Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng, also known as Kwabena Edujemfi, he maintained 2 identities, 2 passports, 2 tax numbers. His company pocketed millions. A house of God turned into a cathedral of corruption. President Akufo-Addo's pet project ended up costing the country so much money. And one last scandal, even though there were many more. Remember, Oral singled out 36 high-profile cases. In 2022, government issued Executive Instrument 144, declassifying parts of the Achimota forest across Las Green Lung. Officially, the land was being returned to the Owuo family, the original custodians. But leaked documents told a different story, a completely different story. Large parcels had already been carved out for business people and political insiders. The declassification was nothing more than a cover. And at the heart of it, Kojo Owusu Afriye, better known as Sir John, he wasn't just a Forestry Commission boss entrusted with safeguarding Ghana's forests. He was also a heavyweight executive of the ruling NPP party. Yet, in his own will, he casually parceled out tracts of the Achimota forest and Ramsar wetlands to his relatives. The very man who should have been the forest's guardian had instead treated it like family property. If the fox is riding the whale, what chance do the hens have? From NSS to PDS, SML to Ajapa, the Cathedral to Achimota, the pattern is unmistakable. Different names, different covers, same script, elite capture, national loss. All while pensioners were forced into haircuts so Ghana could beg the IMF for $2 billion. The people lost their savings, many lost their lives, and the elite built mansions. My friends, this isn't just corruption, it's betrayal. It's generational theft. And how, in good conscience, can African leaders harangue the West unless they themselves clean their own houses first? Operation Recover All Loot is Ghana's last chance to prove that the powerful can't be punished and that stolen wealth can't be reclaimed. Because if $21 billion can vanish and no one pays a price, then the Republic itself is at great risk. My people, like and subscribe. Do you believe Ghana will finally recover its loot? Drop your thoughts in the comments and keep sharing till the next time.
Abusia, we in someone Tim Ura at the above one thing. Abusia, dear in our a can't at the found, but more than Chirawadi, a year comment session of my FFF. How does I bear me dear J. On Kaya home, or man, I don't know any can say where so. Now, a brand brain now, yet to me, as she a YouTube if you take a safe. And how does I bear me dear GH, Yadamasi.